Come on in the room. How y'all doing? Y'all, it's Therapy Tuesday. Sorry for the delay. Apologies. The devil don't want it to happen. You know, anytime it's about to be good, the devil get busy. And y'all know it's hot. We talking about burnout, y'all. Burnout. Look, I guess these computer and these frequencies, they want to get burnt out this evening, but it's all right. The devil is a lie, and we gonna win, and we gonna go for it. So y'all, we are excited about Therapy Tuesdays. I'm glad you're with us. Thank y'all for registering, y'all. We trying to do something a little different, build the community. We want to give you some support, the love that you need to get through. So thank you for bearing with us. But y'all know what time it is. Have you been burned out this summer? Y'all don't know where you at, but I know where I'm at. It's hot, y'all, and I work outside, and I be sweating like a free slave on a Sunday. Let me tell you, I be just perspiring. But what about the burnout on the inside? Have you been trying to be a mom, be a dad, be a business owner, right? In this heat. Your AC might have went out in your car and you driving and you swear you trying to look good, right? But y'all, burnout is real. So we want to encourage you. We want to give you some tools, some tips of getting through that burnout. Want to deal with the inside. You know, not being overwhelmed, not allowing this summer heat to be a heat on the inside. So y'all know what time it is. It's the brother-sister duo, y'all. We bridging the church and the couch. And y'all, I need a big couch because I'm a big boy. And I got some big burdens that I got to drop down sometime. So guess what? Y'all, come to the couch. Come to the couch. What I just need you to come. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Like this right now. Share it with somebody. Send it to somebody like, yo, I seen you the other day. You was looking like you just need to, let it go. Also, man, let me thank y'all right quick. Thank y'all for the support that y'all have given us over these years. It means the world to us. And also, thank you for the support of y'all that sent the congratulations, the shout outs for me graduating, getting that master's. So y'all, we going on to the doctor, so pray for your boy. But y'all, we spiritual, we educated, and we in it, okay? So y'all, we're going to bring Miss Janae to the stage. Let her ask some questions because y'all know we get raw. And it's unfiltered on here, so welcome to Therapy Tuesday. Miss Janae, come on, girl.
How y'all doing? All right, we had some technical issues, but we were flexible and we in here now. So thank you guys for being with us. We're talking about burnt out and buried. And I have very easy questions this week for you, Pastor Garrison. My question for you this week is, have you noticed a trend or a pattern in your moods during the summertime? Like, are you noticing if you're more irritable or if you're more anxious or if you have a shorter fuse or you just can't tolerate things like you normally would? Have you noticed a pattern in yourself?
Yeah. When they get hot, I don't want to be bothered. I want to be in the AC. You know, I already work outside, so why I got to deal with the heat of something else? You know,
Mm-hmm.
just get
Mm-hmm.
that
Well,
heat makes me agitated.
yeah, I notice a pattern too. And my heat not from the outside heat. My heat is from an inside heat. I have such a hard time during the summertime because there's so much change happening, so many transitions. The children are getting new teachers. I got to figure out what to do with them for summer. I got to figure out what to do with myself. I have to decide if I want to lay around, take a vacation, or get things done. And sometimes being pulled in all those directions mentally become very exhausted for me. So we've had topics similar to this during the summertime, but we're going to dive in a little bit deeper today. Burnt out and buried. When heat, hustle, and heartache collide. Yes. And it will collide, especially if anybody's living similarly to how I just described I feel every summer. So we're coming together just to be the bridge between the church and the couch. As Pastor Garrison always says, you need Jesus and you need a therapist. In fact, sometimes God will use people to get his message and his word across and his purpose. So God uses therapists. Therapists are included in those people. So if you're someone who's been praying and it ain't enough, maybe it's time to go a little bit higher and get you a therapist. All right. We're so grateful for those of you who decided to donate to our efforts. We have Apple Pay and we have Giveify. If you would like to sow into what we're doing here, your seeds will be used to enhance our services. The visual things that you see, the things we're able to provide. Every time you sow into us, we're able to grow. And we're going to thank you in advance for what you're going to sow into us so we can grow and continue to edify God's people. All right, recommendations for success. I say this every week. Be present. It's really hard to learn and grow when you're distracted. Participate. Let's have a good conversation. I see you guys are already taking advantage of that chat. What we provide here at Therapy Tuesdays, I know the word therapy is there, but we do not replace a doctor's recommendations or order. This is not psychotherapy for you. What we provide are tools that you can add to your toolkit to live a life that's worth living. I would encourage you to take notes. So you don't forget if you can, use your phone or use an actual notebook to take some notes, and take good care of yourself if you find yourself triggered. Not my intent, but it may happen. And if it does happen, please do take care of yourself. And I want to say a huge happy BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month. BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. This month was formerly known as Minority Mental Health Awareness, but now we're moving to the term BIPOC. We want to get away from that term minority. We want to stop describing people based on their conditions and not their identity. So that's what that word stands for. If you ever saw it and was like, what in the world does that word mean? Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. And this month is really important. About 6% of the world's therapists are Black. About 1% of the world's therapists are Asian. So a very small population of the world's therapists are BIPOC. And we know there's a lot of stigma and shame around getting mental health support. And just think about it. If you already have identity trauma, it's highly likely that you don't want to be serviced by someone that's non-BIPOC. So this month is to highlight that mental health is fun. It can be accessible. We need more therapists of color. We need more people of color on the other side of the couch. Therapy is for everyone. And most importantly, my most favorite one, Black mental health is worth investing in. That's why I do this every month. Black mental health deserves our time, our finances, and our resources. So happy BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month. My objective today, I want you to understand the signs and causes of what I call summer busy blues. And we're going to talk about that and identify practical strategies to manage stress, set your boundaries, and prioritize rest before entering into the next season, which is fall. I just really want you to understand what summer busy blues is, and I'm going to help you understand that. So, my question for the chat, if you're brave enough to answer, go ahead and pop it in the chat. Have you ever felt particularly burnt out during the summer? And I know we already kind of discussed it, me and Pastor Garrison, but now I want to know about you. Have you too felt particularly burnt out during the summer months? Yes, very. Thank you, Deidre. I'm so glad I'm not alone. Yes. So let's talk about what's happening. How does summer heat impacts mental health? Well, that's an environmental factor. So let's focus on that. So environmentally, hot weather can make you feel more on edge, less patient, and quick to snap. Just say when you're hot, you don't feel good. You don't act well. And sometimes you don't want to be well. You want to be cool. You want to be in the house. You want to avoid people, places, and anything else that makes you even more hotter. Yes. And somebody put sometimes. Okay. Heat makes it harder to rest. Some people can't sleep in the heat. So think about this. If you're not sleeping, your body is not resetting, and that stress hormone is not able to be reduced. Every time we go to sleep at night, there's a reset that happens that we need to have happen. But if it's too hot, you're not getting that. Another big thing that happens in the summertime is dehydration. Lack of water can cause headache, brain fog, and crankiness. Also, the summer comes with some expectations. There is a whole propaganda agenda about going on vacation, fun, family fun time. But really, a lot of us are silently struggling. We don't have the time or the money to go on a vacation, and we really want to. Um, it's just hard. So when you got all these different changes happening, then this expectation that I should be living it up and on vacation, and you can't afford to do that, or you don't have the time to do that. Or here's another one. You can go on a vacation, but you have been in survival mode so much that going on a vacation made you exhausted because of the level of work that it takes to go on a vacation. So this is what I say. Sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation. Summer may bring up hard memories. Sometimes you have death anniversaries, grief, reminders of things that you lost along the way. childhood wounds that resurface during family reunions and things like that. So a lot is going on in the summertime. Somebody put a lot is happening on the inside and on the outside during summertime. So what's the problem? Summer is supposed to be for us, but somehow there is more stress. So we're not actually having a summer break. When you become, nobody told me when I become an adult, I can kiss my summer breaks goodbye. There are no more summer breaks. Now, if you're a teacher, you might be getting a summer break. However, if you don't work in an industry that gives summers off, you are working year round. And the problem is we believe that we're lazy because we want to rest during the summer. You're not lazy, you're tired. But we find our worth in our work, so we don't allow ourselves to rest. You're smiling on the inside, but outside, but sweating on the inside. So I call that functioning depression or a functioning way to be when you're really not feeling that good on the inside. So people think you're happy, but you're really suffering in silence. Sometimes there's new schools for your children. You got a new work schedule. It's just hard to manage. Traffic patterns become more chaotic or less chaotic, or things are just different on the road. Realizing there are only 5 months left in the year. I just heard somebody say today that July had somewhere to be. This year is going by really, really fast. And you may find yourself feeling like you're a failure because you did not accomplish the goals that you thought you were going to accomplish this year. Well, let me encourage you. You still got time. You got some time. Got got about 5 more months left to get it together. You do. The pressure to accomplish unfulfilled goals. Everyone's on vacation but you. And especially with the economy and inflation, right now, a lot of people have more bills than they have money. And last but not least, it is hot. I'm in Florida, so it's especially hot here, and I'm pretty sure it's hot everywhere else. So, what is summer busy blues? I'm glad you asked me. So, it is a term that's not real. I made it up just because I noticed this pattern every summer. But what it represents is very real. The feeling of being overwhelmed, exhausted, and emotionally drained during a season that's supposed to bring rest and joy. It's when the pressure to keep up, show up, and do it all during the summer collides with real life responsibilities, leaving little room for peace and pause. That is summer busy blues. If you are someone who may have experienced summer busy blues or are currently living through summer busy blues, put SBB in the comments. SBB, just participate with me. And maybe you're someone listening, you're like, no, I've never had that. That hasn't impacted me. That doesn't resonate with me. Share this information with someone else. Maybe you've seen someone else go through this and share some of what you're being exposed to today with them. All right, so what's going on to build further on the problem? The kids are out of school, they eating up all the food. You only have a limited amount of money for the budget for groceries. The bills are still due. You're trying to make memories and manage chaos. Everyone's posting vacations while you're burning out. You've been told to hustle harder even when it's too heavy. You feel guilty resting even when your body needs to rest. You're showing up for everyone, but no one sees your struggle. And usually it's our children. We just keep showing up and we need rest. So that's what's going on. And you may say, well, Janae, you reiterated the problem about 3 or 4 times already. How do I know if I have this? I'm glad you asked. So what are some signs that you have the SBBs or summer busy blues? You're tired, but there's no time to nap. You don't have any time to take a nap and take a breather. You might have SBB. So you feel like you're doing everything for everyone and nobody sees it or appreciates it or even offers to give a helping hand. You feel like you got the weight of the family in the world on your back. You might have SBB. You keep saying yes when your body is screaming for a break. So you're overcommitting. You're taking on more. And as tired as you are, and as much as you tell yourself, I'm not taking on anymore, you continue to pile on more work. You're carrying the idea that you should be on vacation, chilling and resting, but instead you're burning up on the inside and the outside. So you're hot physically, and on the inside, you're overwhelmed and burnt out. You feel behind while everyone else looks like they're living their best life. You might have SBB. You can't enjoy the moment because you're already thinking about the next thing that you got to do. You feel like crying, but there's no time or space to fall apart. You don't even have the luxury of processing your emotions. You wake up already tired, even after a full night's sleep. So you done went to bed, slept, and you still waking up exhausted. You're holding it together for the kids, for the family, the job, but you're running on fumes. You might just have SBB, summer busy blues. Why does SBB happen? So many reasons. Societal pressure to take a summer break or vacation. Yes, there's pressure to be living it up, but
I'm about
everybody
to
cannot
interrupt
afford
you,
that.
Nick. I'm
Okay.
interrupting. I'm crashing this right now. I just
All right.
thought of what made you create Summer Busy Blues? Like, while we right there on it, let's talk about that. What made you come up with that?
Well, I'm very intuitive. And when I see patterns, I usually try to conceptualize it. And I realize that people of color, we're the type of people, if we can relate to the vernacular or the terms that are used to describe a thing, we can internalize it better. Like if I just say, oh, everybody's summer is chaotic and they're not balanced, that's going to fly over people's head. But with me saying summer busy blues, that's going to pull you in. You're going to pay attention, and I think you understand exactly what's happening when you see that term. It's happening in the summer. You're busy, and this busyness is causing you to be sad, broken down, and burn out. So I just wanted to create something that people could actually digest and understand. And I think when you understand things, it really motivates you to do something more about it.
I like that. Now I got to
Yeah.
throw this out there because what somebody watching might say, I don't have Summer Busy Blues. I got all year busy blues.
Oh, well, listen, I got something for that. Don't worry.
Okay,
I'm gonna talk about
I
fall
get out the
apart
business
fall.
and let me mind my business.
No, you could. Look, I'm gonna talk about fall apart fall in just a minute. I'm coming. Yes. So it's happening because there's pressure from all sides, right? Society is telling you to take a break, but society is also telling you to grind. So that's that internal conflict right there that you're dealing with. Rest isn't modeled for us. It's grind now, shine later. But here's the thing. Some of us don't end up shining later because we grind in every season, just like Pastor Garrison pointed out. You are literally in a busy blues 365 days a year. And if it's a leap year, 366 days a year. You never stop grinding. Well, death anniversaries and grief can contribute to summer busy blues, family reunions and family trauma. I didn't realize that too, that sometimes, getting with family isn't always fun for everybody for a lot of reasons, right? Because when you come together, some people are no longer with the family. Now you're around those relatives that you really don't like. They make your nervous system get on fire because of their personalities. You got to talk to people who you love, but you don't know because you don't spend that much time with them. That could be very traumatic for some people. There's a lack of structure in your life. You're like a ship without a sail. You wake up all kinds of times, you go to bed all kinds of times. You have no structure, no schedule, no plan, no direction. You're just blowing in the wind. And that could definitely contribute to blues because you feel unfulfilled and you feel empty. And here's a little bit of alliteration for you. You're focusing on your parents, your partners, providing, planning. Sometimes you're the pastor's go to, you're the pillar of strength. And that's just too many jobs for one soul. Some of us are just carrying and opting to represent too many roles and responsibilities. It is okay if you show up just as yourself with no additional roles and titles and responsibilities. If this is you, you're the parent, the partner, the provider, the planner, the pastor's go to, and the pillar of strength. I give you permission today to shed some of those titles and roles. Your worth is not tied to your role. You're worthy for just being who you are. You show up with worth. You're not worthy because you're deemed a good parent or partner. You are already everything that you need to be. So that's why we have SBB. That's what's happening. Now I want to talk about the layers. and how they all play. We got a little lasagna going on. I don't know if you guys recognize this, but you got an environmental stressor or trigger of it being hot, right? And then you have the layer of life's demands, which could be all those things we talked about: grief, taking care of kids, the roles you have in your community, the roles you have in your church, the stuff I didn't even name because I don't know your life and what you're committed to right now. And then the other layer to this, you start to mourn the joy you don't get to have, the rest you don't get to have, the unfinished business that you don't get to because you don't have enough time. It's not enough of you. So you're walking around with literally the weight of the world in you and around you. And it's heavy. It's very layered. Oftentimes we're not suffering just because we're suffering, but we're suffering because of our relationship with suffering, because of the multi layers that we have to deal with. Like if we just had to deal with the stressors that happen during the summer, that would be it. But now, on top of dealing with the normal stress of summer, now you got to deal with how hot it is outside. And then on top of that, you got to deal with the mourning of the joy that you miss out on because of the things that you feel like you have to do or else. That's a lot to deal with. That is what causes us to get to the point of clinical depression and needing medication, or clinical generalized anxiety disorder. That is what makes us become disordered. And essentially, when someone is disordered, that means they have an impairment in how they function, how they show up at work, how they're eating, how they're sleeping, how they have interpersonal relationships with others. We have to we're not designed to be under a lot of pressure. We were not designed to live in a pressure cooker. I had an economics teacher, he called it being all pressed down. And I said this to you guys: oppress, repress, so press, depress. We're just all pressed by the weight of the world. And there's no way that you're going to enjoy life living that way. All right. So I've harped on the problems long enough. You guys are probably like, Janae, I live this. Don't keep talking about the problem because I can write a book on this. Okay, I hear you. If that's you, well, let's talk about what you can do about it. Um, I call it soul care over self care. That's what we got to get to. You guys know what self care is, but do you know what soul care is? Soul care takes it to another level. So it's the pausing without permission. You don't need permission to rest. When you're mindful and you notice that something's off with your energy, I want you to be able to give yourself permission to stop. I want you to find the power to stop and hush your inner critic and take some time to pause. There is so much power in a pause. In a pause, you get to reflect, you get to regroup, you get to understand. And it's the understanding that keeps you. Your understanding will help you to get to a point of changing so that way you can stop suffering. We got to stop calling survival a season. When we say I'm just in the season, it'll be over, what you're doing and you don't realize it, you're rationalizing being in survival mode. Yes, being in survival mode is normal, but it's not normal if you want to be well. So don't tolerate being in survival mode, even if it's just for a short season. Don't tolerate it for a long time or a short time. If you notice that you're in survival mode, don't allow it just because you say it's for a season. Because as Pastor Garrison pointed out, it will turn into fall apart fall. It will turn into winter blues. Then it will turn into springing back instead of springing forward. So you really got to deal with this stuff in an effective way, because if you don't change what's in you that's causing the problem, you take it with you in every environment and in every season of your life. Check in before you check out. Take a few moments every day and just check in with yourself. See how you're feeling. See how you're doing. See if you need a drink of water. See if it's about time for a break and you need to take some days off work. See if it's time to delegate. Ask other people to help you with your children. But you got to check in to see what you need to advocate for yourself for. Get off of social media if it's making you feel behind. Social media is a beautiful tool, but it can also be a very ugly tool, especially if you're comparing yourself, especially if you become addicted and start spending too much time on it and don't have those boundaries set. They have a lot of things now. You can schedule your messages. You can snooze the apps for a short period of time. You can set boundaries where you maybe take the app off your phone and just go to it when you're on the actual PC. There's so many different layers to protecting yourself from how social media can make you see yourself as beneath or behind others. So take it from self care to soul care. Soul care just means that you're a little bit more mindful and you're paying attention to the things in you and around you that are contributing to you not living the life that's worth living. And then being brave enough to create a strategic plan of action to interrupt those patterns so you can get a different result. Remember, if you want a different outcome, you have to do something different. So let's talk about prioritizing tasks.
Hold
That's
on, I'm about
it.
to get in your business
Every
again.
task can't be important.
Hold on. We can't go
Okay, all right.
because we on social media right now. What if social media is somebody's everyday and they can't get away from it? Now what? What we gonna do? But they burnt out.
Hey, well, and I will put this out there. Just because you're on social media doesn't mean that it's causing you problems, right? So if you are somebody that is connected to social media and you notice that you compare yourself a lot and it makes you a loser instead of a winner, you might need to take a break and figure out where that's coming from. So if you're using it and you're not having any adverse reactions, continue to use it. It could be a beautiful tool when you have good boundaries. You can take time to get off. When you use it to edify yourself and not tear yourself down. It's all about wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what to do when. If you're using social media as a tool to build you up, as opposed to a tool to tear you down, that is the determining factor if you need to stay away from it or keep doing what you're doing. Is that good?
Oh, I like that, and I like that. Not being a loser, but you take two L's, put them together, you got to win, baby. You know what I'm talking? We win around here.
Yeah, it's all about paying attention, and don't rationalize it. If you find that you are comparing yourself and make yourself a loser, don't say, "Well, I use it for this, so it don't matter." But this is not the situation where you want to take the good with the bad. If you're tearing yourself down, you're going to continue to do that, and then you're really going to have a problem. Um, See, with confidence and esteem and believing in yourself, and that's going to trickle over to the other areas of your life. Now, prioritizing tasks. Um, everything is not at the top of the list. Anxiety makes it seem like everything is urgent and you got to do it now. You can't do everything now, unfortunately. Make a list, focus on what matters, categorize things by level of importance. And another way I like to categorize things is by due date. So whatever's due the fastest is what I focus on because I do wear a lot of hats. I have to do that. And I don't allow the pressure of other people's timeline to force me outside of mine. If you gave me a due date for July 15th, you're going to get it on July 15th. If you really want it sooner than that and you are anxious and you're sending that energy my way, you're going to be anxious by yourself. You gave me a due date and I'm going to adhere to that due date. Why? Because I'm learning to give myself grace. I'm learning that I don't have to be so responsive to people. I'm learning that when I have a sense of urgency, that it usually cancels out an opportunity of rest for me. So that's just something that I've learned. When you're not operating in a spirit of urgency, you're giving yourself permission to rest. But if everything is urgent, that means you're always on go and you're going to be burnt out. Identify daily and weekly non negotiables. Now, there are some things that must be done. We have to do laundry. We got to wear clothes, right? We have to take care of our children. We don't have a choice. So there's certain non-negotiables daily and weekly that you must do. And I will repeat, everything that you probably think is a non-negotiable is not. And another way to determine if it's not a non-negotiable, if you can delegate it. Sometimes non-negotiables can be delegated and you can allow other people to help you. Avoid multitasking. Jack of all trades and master of none. Focus on one task at a time. We call that one mindfully. Research shows that when you throw yourself all in one task at a time, you're actually more productive instead of juggling five balls at a time. Build a sustainable routine. Remember, I talked about that person that's all over the place, going from idea to idea, task to task. A sustainable routine. This means that this routine is in alignment with your capabilities, your resources, your time, and your mental strength. And this sustainable routine not gonna look like my sustainable routine because we got different windows of tolerance and different thresholds. What I can manage may not look like what you can manage. That's why the comparison trap is very dangerous because we're different people with different levels of tolerance, and we can't handle what each other can handle. And just because you handle less than me doesn't mean you're weak. Just means you're different. There may be something else that you can handle a lot better than I can. But set consistent wake up and wind down times. Even in the summertime, my girls still go to bed at their bedtime. I allow them to have more free time during the day, but they still go to bed at the same time. Why? Because mom needs that time at night to be alone and regroup and get myself together. So I put my kids to bed early at regular school time during the summer for my own well-being. And then guess what? They still need to sleep and grow. So they're getting the sleep they need, and I'm getting the time I need so I can recharge and get ready for the next day. Schedule time blocks for key activities, work, exercise, relaxations. Yes, get used to a schedule. Use that calendar app on your phone. Take full advantage of it. Make a schedule and stick to it. In fact, I love it now. I have three calendars and I don't commit to things till I've looked at my calendars, looked at who can help me during this time. I map out the whole day. Well, do I have enough time to wake up and do this? Do I have enough capacity to do this? Okay, Janae, after you do that, how are you going to feel? Are you going to be up to doing this next task? And sometimes I have to say no to things if I realize I'm not going to have enough energy to carry out that whole day. I might have the time on my schedule, but I don't have the energy in my body. And that's also where mindfulness comes in. Know your limits. Know when you might have the time, but you don't have the energy. And that's exactly why you have summer busy blues, because you don't know your capacity. You don't know how much energy you're going to have. And you're just constantly overloading your schedule over and over again. And last but not least, allow flexibility for unseen changes. And let me expound on flexibility. Have enough flexibility to cancel things. Yes. If you thought you was going to have the energy to do something, then you discover you don't, please advocate for yourself. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience that's been caused. I thought I could handle this, but I'm tired and I'm not going to be able to be my best self in this space. Can we reschedule for another time? Can we maybe make it virtual? Can I do this over a phone instead of coming in? But you got to learn to speak up for yourself and not allow the pressures of the world to force you to show up when you're running on fumes. All right? Managing distractions in a chaotic time. Yes, let me tell you something. When you're overwhelmed and busy, that is the perfect time for you to get overloaded because you're not able to be mindful enough to be a gatekeeper. So almost it's like a conveyor belt. Everything that comes to you, like, okay, yep, I'll do that. I'll do that. But don't allow the chaos to distract you from the reality that you still need boundaries. You still cannot handle everything. So, one thing you can do is eliminate your soft addictions. So, soft addictions are things that you are ultimately addicted to, but they're not illicit drugs. So, they're things that are socially acceptable that we can't let go and we can't stop. So, mindlessly wandering social media is a soft addiction. Overeating ice cream can be a soft addiction. Driving around from store to store because you're not ready to go home and deal with the mess you got to clean up could be considered a soft addiction. So refrain or try to eliminate those avoidant tasks that you have. And really that's what it's about. When you these things that we find ourselves involved in, we're really avoiding things. We're avoiding the reality of our situation by eating ice cream, by driving around to go shop. Um, Sometimes by overeating in general can be considered an avoidance behavior. Refrain from going with the masses. Yes, it's summertime and everybody going on vacation, but maybe right now is the time for you. Maybe you can reframe your subconscious and say, hey, we'll take our vacation in the fall. We'll go watch the foliage. We'll go do something else. But don't internalize or succumb to the pressure that you should be on a vacation, on a cruise, on a yacht, on somebody's beach. Timing is everything. Sometimes it's just not the right time, and that's okay. You don't have to go on a vacation like everybody else or when everybody else is taking their vacation. Minimize your digital distractions. We talked about that. Create a productivity sanctuary. There has to be an area in your home or in your personal space, whether it be at work, where it is creating a climate of productivity for you. It has the right smells, so aromatherapy, it's the right temperature, it's the right lighting, your favorite books, your favorite mugs for your tea or your coffee, your water bottles, but the environment motivates you to get things done. It's nothing like creating an atmosphere to be productive when you're demotivated. So make sure you have a productivity sanctuary. And if you don't have one, slowly create one. Look around your home and think about, where can I put my productivity sanctuary? Where can I put the books and the things that I'm working on? And remember that procrastination is a distraction. It really is a defense tool that we use to put a space between us and a perceived threat. Sometimes it's emotionally overwhelming to address things head on that we yet don't have the skills for. So it's not helpful to procrastinate. I know I talk to a lot of people and they're like, Janae, I'm able to do some amazing things when I procrastinate. Yeah, you do amazing things when you procrastinate, but look at your emotionality while you were doing it. You were on edge, you were afraid, you had heart palpitations, you had all kind of negative thoughts. Your inner critic was being very mean to you during that process. And what if you could take a different approach where you dealt with that emotional part of addressing things that are hard? You didn't even have to go down that road. So procrastination can really be a delay and a distraction. It is a survival tool, it is a defense mechanism, but it's not the best course of action and it's not the most effective. Um, Try not to self medicate with procrastination. Essentially, you are procrastinating to ease the burden of fear. And just remember, for me, whenever I'm uncomfortable and I have the urge to procrastinate, I know that it's an opportunity for me to learn and grow. And instead of looking at it like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, I can't do it, I look at it like, what am I going to learn? If I focus and throw my all into this process, who am I becoming on the other side of this? And if I don't know something, who can I ask for help? If I don't know something, where can I go to research to get the answer to this instead of just avoiding it or procrastinating? Do the opposite action here. Procrastination is avoidance and pushing away. Whereas the opposite action would be to move in closer to it, examine it more, ask for help, lean into it. That's what they call it. Lean into why you're procrastinating and lean into the belief that you can learn whatever you need to learn that's scaring the heebie-jeebies out of you. So lean into it. All right. So overcome the mid-year slump. Oh, yeah. So kind of part of this summer busy blues is a mid-year slump. It's like, I didn't get to what I said I was going to do. I'm a failure. So reassess and reignite your goals. It's not too late. Still get those goals done. Review your goals that you set in January or maybe even in December. Break them down into actionable steps over the next 4 to 5 months. Break them down. Celebrate what you accomplished. I know that you haven't accomplished nothing. You've done something. Give yourself credit for the progress you've made, even if it's not where you imagine it will be. It still isn't over. You still got time. Don't become a prisoner to time. The myth that it's over and you're doomed. That is just your inner voice talking to you. You still have more time, and be okay if you have to table it to next year. Maybe you need to get your mental health together first, and then you can pick back up on your goals. There's no time frame for you to achieve your goals. They can be pushed off a little bit. Think about it this way. If you procrastinate, you're going to push them off anyway. You're going to subconsciously push them off. So you might as well mindfully push them off and take care of yourself by taking care of your mental health. Stay flexible. Balance between structure and flexibility. You don't want to be so rigid in your schedule and how you live that now you're going from uh, summer busy blues to analysis paralysis. You need to have some kind of balance, some flexibility there. There's a time to be productive and structured, and there's a time not to be. For me, I'm very hardcore throughout the week, and on the weekend, I'm very free flowing. I do what I need to do. That's balance, right? Learn to adjust your plans. We talked about that. Focus on progress, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect. Just make baby steps. That's all you got to work on. Perfection is the barrier to flexibility. The more you focus on trying to be perfect and trying to please everyone and trying to get stars on your paper and try to get your to-do list done, it's going to be harder to be flexible because now you're more motivated to get those things done than you are to giving yourself a break and having balance. So, last but not least, I just want to encourage you to take charge. And I'm going to add this: take charge of your summer. We don't got to wait till 2025. Take charge of your fall and then take charge of 2025. Remain present, be where your feet are. Embrace the changes that are coming next month, that are happening now, that are going to happen before summer ends. Master time management by being realistic about what you can handle, right? Stay adaptable, be flexible, delegate, give responsibilities to others, and give up some of your roles and responsibilities at church. Allow the church or wherever you serve, if you're overwhelmed, to delegate other people. Build a solid and structured routine. Manage your distractions, whatever they may look like. And they may not just be social media, right? And use your tools, use your schedule, use the people in your life that can help you. Adjust your mindset around when you can vacation and rest. You can rest anytime, but if you can't vacation right now during the summer, plan it out for maybe summer next year. And the very last thing here I got is get your summer busy blues under control before it turns into fall apart fall. I do not want you guys to move into the next season with these same habits because it's just going to be another cycle and another season, and you're not going to get any reprieve or any relief from the life that you're living. So let's do true or false. Like we always do, I want to check your understanding. I'm going to read the true or false statement. And you just put T or F in the comment section. Summer busy blues is a made up term with no real mental or emotional impact. Is that true or false? And that one's kind of tricky, but that one's actually false. F for false. So summer busy blues is a made up term. That's true. But the latter part is what makes it false. With no real mental or emotional impact, it actually does have emotional impact. And that's what I said. It's a made up term, but it has some real consequences. Um, True or false? High expectations and emotional pressure can make summer more stressful than restful. That is true. Yes, high expectations for you to show up and perform um, can make summer more stressful than restful. Yes. Sometimes people will need a vacation from their vacation. True or false? Feeling guilty for resting is a common symptom of summer busy blues. That is true. Yes. People feel guilty when they're resting during the time where everybody else is busy, up and grinding and producing. And you know what? I watch a lot of things on TV and social media, and I'm noticing that there's a big wave of entrepreneurship happening. And I just want to say this: everybody's not made to be an entrepreneur. I know it looks good. I know there's a probably a pressure for everybody to start a business and be their own boss. That's beautiful. If you can do it, if you can do it well, that's a blessing. But everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. Maybe God has called you to be something else, and that is totally fine. And if that is you, I want you to know that you're just as important and valuable and impactful as those who wear the entrepreneurial hat. I think a lot of people are getting burned out because they're trying to be who they're not. They're trying to be what society is doing. They're trying to keep up with society, but it just doesn't work for everybody. Everybody doesn't have the skills to be an entrepreneur. Some people want to work a 9 to 5 job. And there's also another thing where people are shaming people who work 9 to 5 jobs. Hey, I understand. 9 to 5s are great. They help our grandparents get through. And there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. But if you're mentally unwell in any of those roles, it's time to assess what's happening. All right. True or false? Comparing your summer to others on social media can increase feelings of burnout. That true or false? That is true. You know, we looking at a lot of people's highlight reels and we see the amazing things that they're doing. That's not our life. That is not the life that God has ordained for us. That's their life, and that's okay. We will have our time to go on a vacation and to live it up. True or false? Staying busy all the time is the healthiest way to cope with stress. Is that true or false? That is false. Being busy all the time is not the healthiest way to cope with stress. Sometimes we got to slow it down and take a pause and really assess what's happening. True or false? False. Heat, hustle, and heartache can often collide in the summer, leading to burnout. That is true. It's hot. Y'all hustling trying to pay the bills. Y'all having heartache because you're not meeting your goals. And it's all colliding and leading to burnout. That is true. True or false? Survival mode is meant to be a long term lifestyle. That is false. It's not meant to be long term or short term. Remember, I said we don't want to get in the habit of rationalizing survival mode, even if it's for a season. It's not healthy, and it's not going to hold you accountable for doing something about it if you rationalize it for a season. All right. True or false? Taking intentional rest and setting boundaries can help prevent fall apart fall. That true or false? That is true. Take intentional rest, set some good boundaries, and you will not move into the next season falling apart and being busy and burned out over and over again. True or false? Summer is always the happiest and easiest season for most people. That's false. Summer does not feel happy and bright for everybody. So that's false. And last but not least, true or false? It's important to recognize when just getting by has become your normal. That is true. Some of us are just getting by. We're grinding, we're not shining, and it just isn't helping our mental health. All right. So now, any questions, thoughts, or feedback? Thank you guys for your attention. I'm all ears now for the questions. I'm ready.
We got a couple questions that came in the chat. So let me on our line. Let's see what we got here. Um, okay, I'm trying to put it together because it's a lot here.
Okay.
Um, I feel like summer busy blues has been my normal for the past 5 summers because I am a teacher and I don't have the money during the summer as when I do during the school. So I feel like I have to always be on go to maintain for my kids. How can I
Mhm.
better assess myself?
Well, I think you did a great job at assessing yourself. You recognize that you're a teacher. You don't have the same income during the summer. So I would just really assess, maybe writing down some of your options. You know, well, actually identifying the biggest problem, because I hear a couple of different problems. I hear the problem of not having enough money. I hear the problem of you having possibly having children and how that may impact them. So identify what the problem is, and then identify some solutions. Like, do you want? Can you afford to, with time and energy? Can you get a part-time job during the school year that can carry over during the summer, and maybe have people to help if that's a possibility? Um, is it time to look for a new job that maybe align with some of your values of maybe having resources to move around in the summer? Um, can you look into some of the free community events? I always tell moms about that. Like, what's free that's happening? Like in my area, we have splash pads and back to school bashes, and we have festivals and we have grand openings. And from time to time, I just take my girls and we just event hop. And that's a way I can get in my community. It's free. And I've kind of reframed what fun looks like, right? Sometimes you feel like you're lagging behind or you're not where you're supposed to be because you can't do summer like other people are doing it. But how can you modify summer fun to be in alignment with your budget and your energy? It may not look like taking them out of the country or taking them across the United States. You might just have to reframe what summer fun looks like. And I'm pretty sure you're probably doing that. I hope what I'm sharing is helpful.
There's also a question: how do you avoid summer blues as a single parent and an educator?
Oh, kind of similar to what I just shared, right? Like reframe what fun looks like. Maybe in your mind, you have decided because I am a single parent or because I don't have as much support, I can't live a certain way. But you can. Sometimes it takes getting creative. That pause is really important. When you pause and get off the hamster wheel and just really reflect and even ask God to show you. And you told me about this, Pastor Garrison. Sometimes you got to pray and ask God, reveal it to me. Show me how I can have fun, how I can live a life that's worth living, being a single mother and being on the budget that I have. So one, you can use prayer, right? And then two, we got to meet God too where he's at. Use prayer and then think on ways that you can be creative. I know in my area too, we have a moms group on social media. And when I tell you there's so many ideas and things happening in there, go to your mom's group if you're on social media and see what's happening and get involved. You know, community activities and doing things that are not so grandiose can go a long way. But not saying that you two that made the comment are this, but I know a lot of times you carry shame and guilt because you cannot produce some of the same activities that other parents are producing. But I want to just let you know a lot of times those types of activities, those kids don't care. That's really the mothers doing things for their own mental health or for their own ego, right? A lot of times, if you just take kids to a park, they're so happy. They're so happy. So that's also one thing I learned. Like sometimes I find myself, oh, I want to take my kids to Disney or I want to take them to a water park. But my kids are so happy going to the free community park. Same slide. They're just as happy. But a lot of times, if you don't check yourself as a parent, your ego and shame and guilt will cause you to try to parent in a grandiose way that is way beyond your budget. And sometimes the kids don't even enjoy the expensive stuff. I remember taking my nieces and nephews to Disney, and when I tell you they complained the whole time, it's like, oh my God, it's so hot. And I'm like, if I knew y'all were gonna complain about the heat, I wouldn't have brought y'all here. We could have stayed at home and watched movies for free. So sometimes you have to check that kids don't ask for much most of the time. It's really us that's the problem when we look at the big picture.
And I just want to add to that a little tidbit. I think sometimes getting back to the simple, uh, going for a car ride or doing something, going somewhere that you haven't been in a while. Feeding the ducks. Me and Nora went and fed the ducks yesterday, and that was dope. Because it was fun. We cracking jokes on the ducks, but little things that can make you just enjoy the moment. And if you really think back at times, and I look, I'm gonna be transparent. I found myself not wanting to do certain things that I looked at as a hardship from when I was younger. Like, hey, squirting each other with the water hose, I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. Like, I can go somewhere. But realistically, it is what we make fun because our kids will respond to our energy. So if we act like we having a good time, they're gonna have a good time. And they may not be for it at first, but then they're like, oh, okay, we having a good time and it's creating a moment. But also, guess what? It ain't killing your pockets either. And so I think what we do can determine a lot of things. We have another question. Oh no, don't have a question. I'll read that. Don't have a question, but I want to confirm that some of the solutions you shared has been beneficial to me. Delegating is helping me truly, along with understanding my capacity and sharing responsibilities. Thank you for this. See, look. Therapy Tuesday making a difference. I'm telling y'all, send it to somebody. You never know who is going through this summer. If you know some people, share it with them. If you think this was
Mhm.
beneficial to you, share this with somebody. And we got another question. How do how do I prevent summer busy blues with family when they want to be so engaged with each other because everybody's out of school.
Hey, you gotta just know your boundaries. And just because they want to engage doesn't mean, someone says something. I did a recent training and they shared that, oftentimes we're invited to things that we don't have to accept the invitation for, figuratively and literally, right? If your family is getting together and it doesn't align with you, I know it doesn't feel right, but you always have a choice. You have permission to say no. And you have permission to say no if that means that you're going to be grounded, you're going to be better for it, if you're going to be drained out. Some For you, there's a time to get with family, there's a time not to. So it's not I don't want to be around you forever. It's just that today, I don't have the capacity to be around you. And that's okay. You do have the right to choose yourself and to choose what's best for you. And your family doesn't have to understand. It's not for them to understand. In fact, they won't understand. People will never understand the choices you make for your own mental health. Why? Because it's not their mental health. They don't suffer like you suffer. They don't feel like you feel. They haven't experienced what you experience. That's why, it's a bit wild to actually consult with other people when you're making choices for your mental health. It's no way they could understand what you need and why you're doing it. You're the expert on what you need. And I shared this in a few Therapy Tuesdays many, many months ago. But when you start to move according to what your family wants you to do, it becomes a bargain and not a boundary. You're not bargaining with them, foregoing what you need, going along to get along, essentially being a people pleaser, as opposed to setting a boundary and being a pleaser of your own self and your own needs. And some may hear me and say, Janae, that sounds selfish. I don't see it that way. I think that is wise. That's wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what to do when. Taking care of yourself is always a good idea when you don't feel well.
All right, and the last question, and this is for you, Janae. What have you put in place for yourself this summer not to have SBB?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. So one, I don't work on the weekends, but can I tell y'all something? I'm about to be a little bit vulnerable. So you guys know I have the mental health fair coming up July, and it's been BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month, and I got a lot of things that I have planned. Believe it or not, I have done acupuncture. I have been sleeping in the bed all day. I've been resting. If I don't feel like doing things, I haven't been doing it. Now, there's a version of me that'll be like, Janae, you are being unproductive and you're being a little lazy. But this season, I'm walking in peace. I have literally, if I don't have the unction to do it, I'm not doing it. And this is my fourth year during the fair. So I know how it works. I have enough volunteers. I have everything kind of laid out. It's no sense in me overworking myself for something that God already has his hands on. Both of us don't need to be working. I have literally been on chill mode. And this is different from me. I have never been this chill during the summer, 2 weeks before I have a big community event. So that's to answer your question. I have really been moving completely different to prevent SBB. I have been relaxing. I have been moving to the beat of my own drum. I have been taking other routes of relaxation, like through the acupuncture. I'm gonna get me a deep tissue massage. In fact, that's kind of one of the things I said. If I'm gonna work hard for the community, I gotta make sure in the month of July, at least every week, that I do something therapeutic for myself, whether it be a massage, acupuncture, getting my hair done, just something for myself.
I like that. So I'm talking, girl, I'm proud of you. That's good. Look at you.
Mhm.
I'm so proud of you. I know you be on go. We be talking. I got to do this. I got to get this done. So I love that for you that you are taking time for yourself. And y'all, I'm taking time for me too. Cause I work and I work and I work and I work and I show up. And so, having taken a couple of days for myself, to just breathe and do nothing, sit in my rocking chair and just rock away, or while Noah's down, just taking time to enjoy her just being her presence. We may not do a whole lot, go a whole bunch of places, but make the time impactful. And so that is one thing that has been beneficial for me in understanding what it is that I need to just say, I can't get burned out either. Because sometimes you're always showing up for so many people, but then you forget about showing up for you. And, we can't
Mhm.
be in a season that we don't show up for us because guess what? Burnout is real. And that heat is hot outside, but the heat is hot on the inside too. And so, what can you do if you don't do enough for you? So, y'all, it's time to breathe. As we said, you got to breathe. Take some time. Take some time. So, if there's no more questions, y'all better hurry up. Put it in the chat if you got one. But if not, Janae, amazing, amazing, amazing. Can y'all just put a hand clap or heart? If there was one thing said that resonated with you, can you let us know in the chat? We would appreciate it. Just let Janae know that you appreciate the information, the tools that she brought forth tonight and poured out for us. And that's right, Antoine. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Pour into your cup, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all, the men got to show it. So let me say this for y'all women with some hard working men that's outside. Had them some a little tub with some Epsom salt because it's hot out there. Just let them soak their feet. I ain't say you got to touch them, but that little act of kindness will go a long way. And fellas, if you got a woman that's working hard, rub her shoulders when she get home. Do something. Those little things. Cause this heat is real. You got to be careful. Have them a nice ice glass water. So, baby, I was just thinking about you in that heat. I want to chill you off when you got home. Something. Because little things helps relationships build. It helps people feel that you are actually thinking about them. So, y'all, we appreciate y'all for being on tonight. Janae, thank you, sis. I appreciate you. We bringing this couch, this church, we the bridge, y'all. So y'all like it, share it, send it to somebody. If anything was impactful for you, because y'all, we do it for you. It ain't for us, it's for you. So we appreciate you all supporting Therapy Tuesdays. So until next month, y'all will put out our segment. But also, we want to know from y'all because it's for you. So if there's something that you want to hear us talk about that we haven't talked about already, put it in the chat. Y'all, those that registered on the webinar, thank you so much. So we'll start sending out resources and different things now to grow this community. We don't want you to just be fed only on this one Tuesday. We want to make it a monthly thing that we're giving you information, giving you resources. We got to check in with each other. Sometimes we don't check in enough. Sometimes people are crashing out because they haven't been checked on. So check on somebody tonight when you get off here. Say, hey, I was thinking about you. Let me just send this to you. Or just tell them, hey, I'm here if you need me. It's the little things that go a long way. Oh, yes, that's right. Dating as a single saved parent. Is that a question? Because I want to know. Give me some advice. You got some advice?
I might have to put my finger. Hey, I'm gonna see y'all later.
All right now.
No, I'm joking.
Oh man, but no, this has been great. What's up? Come on, get on here, talk to the people.
Oh, as a topic, okay.
Oh, as a topic, okay. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Well, Miss Deidre, we gonna make it one just for you for next month. Then, so there's our topic. Since she's the only one that spoke up, we gonna grant your blessing. Okay. So next month's topic: dating as a single pair. We know you say, but hey, guess what? Some people ain't, but we'll talk about both. So we're gonna give it to you, so Miss Deidre. That'll be our topic next month.
Pastor, you might be the leader on that one.
Hey, that's fine. We can go. We can go.
All right.
But or we could always tag a friend. But y'all know, seriously, thank y'all. Janae, thank you for always being a blessing to us here at Therapy Tuesdays, Love and Faith Restoration, Lifespire. Y'all, this is a family, it's a community. And when we say this, that we do this for y'all, we love y'all. And this is for the people. So Janae, thank you so much. Keep being great, sis. You were so awesome. Thank you for all you do. Y'all, give her a last clap before she get up out of here. Send us some hearts for all the entrepreneurs out there. We appreciate her. But as always, before we get out of here, I got to pray over you. I got to cover you. Can never let you go uncovered. Y'all, but do this for me, please, if you can. If you don't mind. Today, when you get off here, breathe. Take a deep breath. Look at yourself in the mirror. If you're going through it, if the weight is heavy, just breathe. It may not all be going the way that you want it to go, but God has already worked it out. Give yourself a break. All right? God, we just thank you for tonight's session. Father, I just ask that you cover everybody under the sound of my voice. Father, cover the sons, the daughters, the moms, the fathers, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. Father, cover the co-workers. God, I just ask that you touch their minds, their hearts right now, Father, that you keep them from having summer busy blues. And those that may be in it, Father, that you will pull them out. Father, we thank you, God, for doing all that you have already done and continuing to raise us higher. Father, bless them as we leave this place, but never your presence. In Jesus Christ's mighty name, amen. We love you. We love you. We love you. Be blessed. Have a great night. And remember, keep your head up because there's nothing to look down about. You're amazing. God loves you. Have a great night. And remember, keep dreaming. Keep being positive.